Greetings from the set of Metro and More at Metropolitan Community College, serving more than 50,000 students with over 120 programs at our 8 locations in the daytime, evening, weekends, or online. Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm your host Kent Pavelka. Welcome again to Metro and More of what you need to know about Metropolitan Community College. In the next half hour, you're going to learn all about MCC's Military and Veterans Services with our guests. 3 guests on the set for this show. Gary Sparks is an adjunct IT instructor at Metropolitan Community College, retired Air Force, along with Daniel Moore. To Gary's right, he is a veteran certifying official at the college, and so is Armando Perez. Great to have you gentlemen on the show.
Thank you.
And an opportunity to learn about what MCC does for and with military and veterans. Maybe we can just warm up a little bit of information about each one of you. Armando, if you wouldn't mind starting, your background, what you did before you came to the college, and the nature of your military service.
Okay, well thanks. It's a pleasure to be here. My first initial commitment was serving the military with the Air Force. I was in for about 20 years and was in health services and information management. Enjoyed it very much so. After that I went ahead and retired and then moved on to my next career, which was working with the Department of Labor, and I worked very closely with the Veterans Administration Employment Services side of the house. Enjoyed that with a great passion, helping veterans out and moving forward and helping them out go into employabilities. After that, I went ahead and moved into a new career, temporary with the Veterans Benefits Administration. Under the Benefits Administration umbrella, where I worked on the compensations and disabilities. I really enjoyed that as well too. And that's what brought me here to Metropolitan Community College. I'm now here as a certifying official. Technically it's called a school certifying official, but we have been designated as veteran certifying officials to make the oneness connection with the students that come in our area. I've been here since June. Yeah, so very excited. Have a real strong passion of working with veterans and all those that fall under the umbrella of the education benefit.
Great. Daniel, what's your background?
Sure, like Armando, I'm Air Force, retired Air Force. I spent
Everybody's Air Force on the set. Okay, good.
Spent 30 years and I went all the way to Chief Master Sergeant. Started out as a little airman basic and had a pretty blessed career. Throughout my tenure, I've been in Florida and Japan and Germany and at Offutt for a couple of years. Then I retired out of Tinker with the AWACS aircraft. In some of my positions, I served as a flight chief and squadron superintendent, and this is where I kind of really developed but polished my skills at working with junior enlisted personnel, making sure they were taken care of. And the skills I learned there, making sure people are getting the things they need to get the mission accomplished or get their education accomplished, are things that I brought to our office. And like Armando, I started in June, and it's a great position to be in. And I love working with both the active duty military and the reservists and retirees and of course their dependents and their children.
Perfect. Gary?
Yeah, I'm full-time faculty with the college, and I
thought you were adjunct. I beg your pardon. I was misinformed.
No, that's perfectly fine. Full-time, I started out in the Air Force and served 32 years, 16 years of active duty, and then 16 years of Air National Guard. So I kind of helped them out with my knowledge of Air National Guard and some of the issues that they deal with there. But did that, got over my career from Alaska to Arkansas, then to Nebraska. So
very well.
Pretty good, pretty diverse career.
Well, let's just jump into this here and talk about what Metropolitan Community College does for active members of the military and retired members and veterans. What is the program in general?
The Military Veteran Services has a program amongst several programs. We monitor the education benefits for the students that come into our facility, and there are several programs, the Montgomery Gi Bill, the Post 9/11 education bill, the Dependents Education Assistance program as well. So for the most part, our primary focus as school certified officials is to monitor the engagement of having students come into our office so we can go ahead and be engaged with them to certify them for the courses that they are eligible for and they have signed up for the quarters that are coming up.
That's what you do primarily as veteran certifying officials?
That is correct.
And that means what, like on an everyday basis? A given student will come in and what's the process?
Well, normally what we do is we validate their enrollment status. And by doing that, they go into the e-benefits portal to make sure that they are eligible to receive the education benefit. When they come in, we do an assessment, and it's called a comprehensive initial assessment, because we do provide the full service concept in our area. That being said, when the student comes in and takes it and brings in the document, which is called a certificate of eligibility, we turn around and enroll them into the system, which is the VA system called the VA-1s. We'll turn around and monitor them and make sure that they're continuing in that program with that certification process until the program is complete with the Metropolitan Community College. And that's just the beginning portion of it. After that, what we do is we turn around and stay in touch with them and touch bases with them and make sure that they stay within a certain standard of academic progress. Make sure they don't go below the 2.0 because it may affect their education benefits.
And do you all three do the same things with the students and in the program?
Well, that's their primary function as faculty, as veteran faculty. We're in the classroom with those students, working with the students, help them work through the curriculum, understand the material, and to be better prepared once they complete their program to go to work. Several years ago, one of the veteran students said, "We'd like to know who our faculty are that are veterans." So the faculty self-identified, and a lot of the veteran students, they can ask their advisor, and I think we have it on our website too, where they can go and say, "Oh, well, Gary Sparks is a veteran, so I can be looking for his name in the schedule." And a lot of the students feel more comfortable with that.
Yeah, I mean, is there a special programming that they receive as a result of having the military experience? I mean, is there a different experience for them in the classroom as a result?
It is. If you view the military as a culture, it is a culture. Even though you have the 5 distinctive branches, there is a culture, and when you see 2 of the military members get together, you see that relationship and that rapport almost immediately is established. And they build on that relationship, and they kind of go back to their military experiences where they rely on each other and help each other out.
Daniel, what's a typical day like for you in terms of dealing with the veterans and the retirees?
Busy, but it's enjoyable and fun. A lot of times the services, when folks transition out of the military, the educational benefits, the service doesn't spend a lot of time explaining those, but it's really not a service program, it's more of a VA program. So what we do is we help bridge that gap when they show up at our office. We help explain what the different programs are that Armando had mentioned earlier, and guide them to the correct applications so they can apply for the benefit. And then fill those information gaps. Of course, if the student has a lot of questions, we always rely back on the VA too, because the VA is always the approval authority for everything that happens regarding that certificate of eligibility that Armando mentioned. And sometimes we ask the students to review that website before they make a determination. So when they select a benefit, whether it's a Montgomery Gi Bill or a post 9/11, so they select the benefit that works best for them.
Available to everyone who's eligible or wants to explore whether they're eligible is the MVS handbook, correct? And we can show that.
Yes.
Is this the college's handbook?
Well, basically the handbook is just a resource handbook that we provide and give out to our students that come in, and it's a very good handy handbook that has all of the partners and all of the community areas and other colleges as well. So it's a very familiar handbook that the student can relate to and connect to and know where to go to for questions and answers. So it's a way of making that transition smoother for the student.
What's the reality? Do these folks pretty much know? I guess you kind of answered that, Armando. A lot of them don't know about the details of eligibility. But I mean, do we need to reach out to them and let folks know in the community that this is available to them, or are they aware?
Most of our students are knowledgeable. They have received information either from the Veterans County Office, from the VA system, from the active duty military portals about their education benefits that they have available to them because of the service that they were committed to when they did their active duty. Also with the Guard and the Reserve. And so that being said, is they are more knowledgeable at this time of frame where they know that there's going to be education benefits available to them. Henceforth, that is why a lot of our military people have gone into the military, is because they know they're going to be able to receive some kind of education benefit on top of their enlistment.
You bet.
And so they're aware of it. The question is, where does it start? And when can I enroll for it? And where do I start as far as the contact? And that's where we come in place, where the referral partners versus whether it be Voc Rehab or the Veterans County offices, they'll refer them to us.
Well, we should then focus a little bit on how to get a hold of you folks, because that's the message here, right? Is that you're available, and so first of all, I know there's information on the website, correct?
That is correct.
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
And we've got contact numbers that we'll share as well.
Yes.
Well, we're talking about a variety of different kinds of folks: active duty, dependents, retirees, separated, veterans, surviving spouses. That's a big list of folks there.
And to include children too. Children are eligible as well for those that are of surviving spouse, parents as well. They were in the military, so they're eligible for the program itself too. As long as they're under the age of 26, they fulfill that requirement, and they could be eligible for the education benefits as well.
And what's the issue about age of under 26?
There is a stipulation that the Veterans Administration has put off that they want to make sure that the student that is of a child, can go only up to the age of 26 to pursue their education program study. That being said, as soon as they're out of high school, the 2-year, the 4-year programs that they join up to partake in.
And there's different rules too for like a spouse that doesn't cut off at 26. It goes a little longer. Sometimes it's driven by a unique case, and sometimes the VA will waive certain requirements if the situation warrants it.
So for anybody viewing who is motivated as a result of what we're talking about, wants to talk to you, what's the process?
Just to go ahead and get on our phone call or our email. We have provided our email address and our phone number as well, to just give us a call. We do monitor the phone calls and the emails 24/7. So usually when they come in within the next business day, we'll respond back to those phone calls and inquiries. So they're more than welcome to reach out to contact us that way.
And then there's an appointment, I assume.
Right, well, walk-ins. We actually encourage walk-ins. We do appointments because some folks are by schedule, but generally we encourage folks, when you're ready, come on in, because we'll take care of you.
And you two are located where?
All three certifying officials are at the South Omaha campus.
Okay.
We're in the Connector building. We're in room 134, and right next to Student Services. Our hours of operations are Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. And then on Fridays, we are from 8 until 3 p.m.
And then I assume that part of the educational process at that point is to make it clear that there are folks like Gary available who've been there and done that, who will be in the classroom with you, correct?
Yes, and one thing that's nice too with veteran teachers, faculty members, and other faculty members too, is sometimes they understand the unique aspect of military service, in that a student could be here today, but they could be gone tomorrow. And sometimes students will coordinate through our office, hey, I'm leaving, can you help me do something? And we coordinate sometimes with the faculty member, can you help the student out? And what we found across MCC is most of the faculty members are like, yeah, we can accommodate that. We can let this student do their homework via email, and then when they get back in the class, we'll get them up to speed.
How does that work, Gary?
This last quarter, I had a student that was sent TDY shortly after the quarter started. TDY, temporary duty. And so I had the student, he went ahead, since we were using the Blackboard Learning Management System, he had access to that while he was traveling. So, and the big thing is the students communicate with us. And it works pretty well. The students are able to keep up with their assignments and post them. They communicate through us through email. I have had students in Afghanistan, and I knew that before they actually left the country, and they did very well. They were timely and got all their assignments done as needed.
Metropolitan Community College is really dedicated to providing these services and special events too. And one of them every year is the annual Veterans Day celebration at the South Omaha campus. Yes. We have a little video of the 2014 event. Let's take a look.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Metropolitan Community College's Veterans Day ceremony. I'm Chief Master Sergeant Gary Sparks, retired, a faculty member at MCC, and I'll be your narrator for today's event. Please stand and remain standing for the entrance of the official party, recognition of the POW MIAs, posting of the colors, and playing of the national anthem. I would like to explain the meaning of the items in this special row. The table is round to show our everlasting concern of our missing men and women. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their motives when answering the call to duty. The single red rose displayed in a vase reminds us of the life of each of the missing and the loved ones and friends of these Americans who keep the faith awaiting answers. The vase is tied with a yellow ribbon as a symbol of our continued determination to account for our missing. The chairs are empty. They are missing. This year, Metropolitan Community College has permanently assigned service covers for the branches. Adopting a Marine Corps tradition, all service covers must be assigned to a soldier, Marine, sailor, or airman.
We are talking about our military and veteran services at Metropolitan Community College and a look at the 2014 Veterans Day celebration at the South Omaha campus. That's a great event every year.
Yes, it is. We've been doing that for 9 years now.
You've got a display case with service caps, right? I mean,
Yes.
we can take a little peek at that too. Maybe
Yes.
set it up a little bit. What are we going to be looking at?
Well, the service covers every year, and what you saw in the video was the Navy Junior ROTC from Papillion La Vista South. They do the color guard and honors ceremony, and this honors POW and MIAs, and the service covers represent each branch, and they're carried in precedent by the oldest service first, which is Army, Marine, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard, and that's the priority that they're brought in. But the service covers are now owned by the college, and this year we follow a Marine Corps tradition that every cover is assigned to a Marine, Airman, Soldier, or Sailor. So these are all Nebraskans that are assigned to these covers, and we did that as part of the ceremony this year.
Service covers for the lay folks out there, meaning
The caps that the military wear.
Right, right, very good. 30 minutes goes by in a hurry, and this is an area that Metropolitan Community College is really focusing on, military and veteran services. I kind of want to just let you talk about what you think is important that our viewers know about the programming.
Well, we enjoy the commitment that we've made in serving the veterans, the community, and we have a mission statement that we have established, and our motto is that we are proud to serve. And it is a passion of all of ours as veterans ourselves to welcome all those students that come into our office that are eligible for the VA education benefits, and to allow them to be able to use those tools to put them up onto the next level of, saying, a career progression, which in turn will lead them to the employability side. And so we have a lot of successes that we want to continue to deal with when it comes to the servicing the customer that comes to our area. And we're very excited being available to them when they come into our area.
Perfect.
And additionally, we'll have folks come in and they're maybe new to college, or they've been out of college for a while and they're coming back. And we sit down and we take the time with that student to kind of explain their benefits and how the process will go. And of course, we never want to rush the student through the process. When they feel comfortable, then we press forward with the next step. And a lot of times what we'll do is we'll get students who maybe kind of know what they want to do but don't know what they want to do. And we have an academic advisor on our team, Dave Reyes, who's very astute at taking a student from the big picture down to exactly what they want to do with a couple very pointed questions. And he's very professional too, and as our whole staff, I think, is pretty good at taking care of the needs of the student. And of course, our goal is to get them in the classroom, like Ronald said, and get them out and into being productive in the workforce.
You know, one of the things that Air Veteran Service does, it sets an example for a lot of other schools too. It provides space for our veterans to just get away and associate with other veterans and so forth. So much so that the Adjutant General has used us as a benchmark for other schools that he's associated with to make sure that we are providing the services those veterans have so they are successful.
So you're saying it's kind of a unique program.
Very unique.
In terms of the support they get in the classroom, you think?
The support they get in the classroom, not only in the classroom, but with these guys in the office. Navigating the VA system, the paperwork can be time-consuming and frustrating.
Is there any way in a minute or two to throw out what the basic benefits are? Or there's so many nuances to it that we probably dare not go there, I suppose.
The first one that seems to be used in a high percentage right now is the post 9/11 chapter education benefit. Any military veteran that served active duty for 4 years or more is eligible for that education benefit. They are also eligible to receive what's called basic housing allowance, along with a book stipend. And so depending on the number of hours that they take throughout each quarter that Metro gives, that's where they'll get the certain amount of the book stipend and the BAH that comes to them at the end of each month. And that's just the first one that we have a lot of students that come in to see us. The next one is the Montgomery Gi Bill, which is a Chapter 30. And usually those are the veterans that have been in for quite a while and have built up their benefits long ways to use it in the education side of the house. We are also certifying those as well too to come into our office. But we also have the vocational rehab, Chapter 31, students that come in through us, and these are students that are veterans that have a disability compensation benefit of 20% or more. And so the voc rehab or staff are the ones that collaborate with us to put them into the system for them to go ahead and get enrolled, get their degree or the program, and then the end goal is to become employable. And those are just the basic major three ones.
Sure. Is the sense of this, in our particular geographic area that most of the folks who are eligible are taking advantage of their benefits or not?
I would say a large preponderance are. It's probably driven by the service members of the veterans' unique situation, whether or not they're using their benefits. For instance, in my case, I pursued my degree while I was in the service using service tuition assistance, and what I'm going to do is, or I did, I transferred my entitlement to my son and my daughter, which is a wonderful option with Chapter 33 for those folks that are still in active duty, and it gives my two kids, 2 years of college taken care of.
Wow.
It's probably more fitting for Guard and Reserve, because the Guard and Reserve, they're 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year, so it becomes more of a benefit for them to be able to pursue their education and continue moving on.
We touched on this. We probably ought not finish the show without talking about some of the partners involved in this enterprise. Lutheran Family Services, Women's Center for Advancement, Veterans County Office. We've talked about them and the coordinating effort of the Offutt Air Force Base folks.
And if I could just jump into both the Women's Center for Advancement, the Lutheran Family Services, or more specifically the Vets for Vets programs. It's really unique in that they have staff members come out every week to talk with our students while school is in session. And what is neat about the guy who runs the Vets for Vets program is a couple weeks ago I got a phone call from a prospective student. He paid, never used his benefit before, wanted to see about using it. And then he went into talking about some issues he was having at work and within the within his family, and he wasn't happy with certain aspects of his life. I said, hey, let's not talk about school. Let's talk about something else. Hey, I know a guy. Would you be willing to talk to him? Well, okay. So I did the information exchange between the student and the facilitator for the Vets for Vets program. So the Vets for Vets program coordinator contacted that veteran. Things going okay, what can we do for you? Because the Vets for Vets, they offer a lot of different opportunities for students, whether it be counseling or financial support or something. If they have a shortfall in their life or something that's bugging them, they can reach out, and Vets for Vets can very often help, or at least refer to another agency. And the Women's Center for Advancement is similar to that, except they're more focused on female veterans, vice male or female.
Yeah, I want to make that clear. We're talking about both genders here.
Yes.
Yes.
And then the role of the Student Veterans Association. I think you alluded to that.
Yes, the Student Veteran Association, it's an association that the students can come together and they do things, they can do community projects and things like that. And it's another avenue for them to build leadership skills for the student to be able to associate with other veterans. And they meet on a somewhat regular basis. And it's a national organization like many others, so they get to come together and do different activities.
Military and Veteran Services at Metropolitan Community College. What else would you like our viewers to know about what you all are doing in this field?
The earlier a student can enroll for the education benefits, the smoother the transition will be for us to go ahead and put them on the timeline of getting started for each quarter of the school. That being said, even if the school has already started and they're still thinking of using their benefits, they can still come in and see us, and we can still go ahead and process them for the VA education benefit.
For the next quarter, starting the next
Same
quarter.
quarter that they're in.
Same quarter. Yeah,
Yes.
great.
Additionally, we have similar backgrounds to our students. We're veterans, and
Yeah.
when they talk about an operation, I'm familiar with that, and it's nice to connect with veterans. And I think sometimes each veteran has a story to tell. Now, if they want to share that story, they do or they don't. But when they do share, I think they're glad to talk about their contributions they made while they're in the military. And I always like to hear what other folks have done, and it kind of helps motivate me to do a good job for them, kind of
You bet.
a little payback for them.
That's great. Gary?
Yeah, yeah, and I totally agree. We get the students in the classroom, they start sharing. Last fall, there's a student that referred to me as my military rank because he knew I was retired as a chief. And of course, it's like the saying, once a Marine, always a Marine, once a chief, always a chief. And so a lot of times the students, they realize that, and they'll come up, they're more open to talk with us about things that they're dealing with. And
Yeah. Got about a minute left. I guess the bottom line is take advantage of this, right?
yes,
Absolutely.
Yes, the benefits are there. They're available for those active duty, the retirees, the spouses, and sometimes the children. So please feel free to reach out to us. We're available, and we welcome people to come in to see us.
Thank you. Armando? Daniel?
Sir.
Gary, thank you very much for your service and for what you're doing for Metropolitan Community College in the area of military and veteran services at Metropolitan Community College. Thank you for being with us again on Metro and More. Our goal is to better acquaint you with the mission, the leadership, and the reach of the college. I'm Kent Pavelka for Metropolitan Community College.
This has been a MetroVision production produced by Metropolitan Community College.
At Metropolitan Community College, the faculty bring more than just their degrees. They bring international experience, decades of industry expertise, and creativity that transcends the classroom. Through quality instruction and one-on-one attention, we deliver the skills and education students need for success.
In 2012, MCC added $93.8 million to the local economy via brain gain. The experienced option is Metropolitan Community College.